Hey everyone, welcome back to Meeting Movie Reactions. I'm here after seeing one battle after another. This is another Paul Thomas Anderson film, and I will tell you right now, this film clocks in at like 2 hours and 46 minutes, I think, and you are going to feel every second of it. You do need to be aware of that because, I'll get into all of that. This movie stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Tiana Taylor, and Benicio del Toro is in this. Sean Penn is a military colonel. I don't know, works for ICE. Maybe it's all nebulous. This is a movie that I thought for the first like 30 to 45 minutes I was actually comparing it in my head to The Professional by Luc Besson, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, and a movie that I went in thinking it was going to be one thing and turned out to be something completely different. This is a movie that I thought was going to be just Leonardo's version of Taken, where his daughter gets kidnapped and then he has to go rescue her. But what it actually is he's a sort of failed revolutionary, part of the French 75. I'm not going to get into too many spoilers, but basically things don't work out for him and Tiana Taylor. They have a daughter, and they go on the run, right? So then 16 years later, the daughter's grown up. Sean Penn decides that he's going to come after them, is still tracking them down, and it's them trying to escape from Sean Penn while also trying to rescue each other. It's weird. It kind of loses focus. You know, Paul Thomas Anderson has some very divisive films. I would say that you either love them or hate them. They drag on frickin' forever, and that's kind of where this thing is. I think it's very tight. It's beautiful. It's the music is sort of asynchronous, like it doesn't fit. It feels like music out of like the 70s, like this is a Thomas Crown Affair type music score that doesn't fit with the actual film that's there. For a movie that's called One Battle After Another, there are actually very few battles, except maybe Leonardo battling with not crying all the damn time. He looks like he's ready to break at any moment. He does a good job. Benicio del Toro is awesome, though I don't understand the actual point of him in this movie. It almost gets political, almost gets really good talking about ICE and, the treatment of people from, Hispanics and people, immigrants, that sort of thing. But it doesn't quite have the balls to go there and really tackle that. I thought when they started to get into it, that's when the film was really riveting, when it was great. And then it kind of fell into this weird sort of chase sequence. There is a car chase at the end that is the slowest, longest, most boring car chase that I've ever seen in film. There's also this whole weird sort of naughty secret cult type club that Sean Penn is trying to get into because he's a fucking racist, basically, and so are all these white dudes. And that adds another 30 to 45 minutes to this movie that does not need to be there in any way. This could have just been a film about why we fight and who are we fighting. And again, the current political climate. There was so much that it could have done and said that it just didn't do. And in the end, I think it just got a little bit silly. I think if you do go watch this movie, then stop when he is reunited, when Bob is reunited with Willow, when he's reunited with his daughter. Stop. Get up, leave, walk out. Because the last 15 to 20 minutes of this film, so freaking stupid, so pointless. Sean Penn is, at the beginning of the film, I thought, wow, he's freaking great. By halfway through, I thought, he's just a damn cartoon character, and it's stupid. I don't like the voice. I don't like the walk. I don't like any of this. Why is he doing this so much? There are all these characters that get thrown in kind of for no reason, just to add complications, but it never builds up the story. I actually did see a couple reviews of this movie that it's a 10 out of 10 and all that sort of thing. I don't think so. I think it thinks it's a 10 out of 10. I think it wants to be a 10 out of 10. But I think that it needed to be trimmed at least 30 minutes to make this a little bit tighter. Like I talked about that car chase, there are sequences in this. Half of that car chase is really just the camera on the ground rolling up against the hills, right? All you're seeing is asphalt. It doesn't make any sense. They're weird action sequences that aren't really action sequences. There's the whole Underground Railroad. They bring up the Underground Railroad with Harry Tubman and getting immigrants, where? Where are they getting them? Are they getting back to Mexico? Are they getting to safety? Are they getting them somewhere where they can work? None of that makes any freaking sense. The timeline in the movie is stupid. I'm talking myself into really disliking this movie, which is weird because I enjoyed it. I liked it. I wanted it to be better. I wanted it to be tighter. I wanted it to be smoother. I think overall, I'm going to give this movie a 7 because, at the very least, it looks absolutely gorgeous. The music, even though it doesn't quite fit, I think it's great. I think some of the performances are great. And, coming out of the theater, you know, there were a lot of people that were just on their phones, right? But coming out, there are groups of people that are standing around talking about, well, what did this mean? Well, I didn't understand that. Well, why did this person get shot? Or why did that person, have this call sign or whatever it might be? So that kind of stuff I think is riveting. It's fascinating. I think that's interesting. But overall, this movie is probably one that thinks it's better than it actually is. I'm going to go with a 7. There we are. Thanks for watching, and please like, share, subscribe. I appreciate you all. I'll see you after the next movie.